Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. Let us begin studying the Panchama Veda with this stotra. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi viridritam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam sri madatatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. Now, last Wednesday, we were discussing whether the incarnation is having desire or not. So, one devotee was asking Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna whether the incarnations are having desire or not. The Sri Ramakrishna, he not directly, because this is a question where that those who are not very accustomed or advanced in spiritual life, they ask like that. They do not know who are these incarnations and all that. So, that's why they are asking this question. And Sri Ramakrishna also replied, oh, well, I am having some desires. So, like that. So, we read in the last week. But the incarnations cannot have any desire. We discussed why, because the incarnations are God themselves. The God is manifesting in a human form, that is called incarnation. Ordinary sadhaka, they may try their best, and with the great effort and with the great spiritual practices, they may get liberation. But they cannot become incarnation. Incarnation only God can. And last Wednesday, we discussed how the God is working with three powers. And they are Hladini, Sandhini, Sambit, like that. Now, Hladini is the power that is blissful power. And with that only they are working. Sambit is the knowledge, the eternal knowledge. That is also the power he is using. And Sandhini, there is the eternity. There is the existence eternal. Now this our Vedanta, that Advaita Vedanta will say existence, knowledge and bliss. The Dvaita Vedanta will say the Sandhini, Sambit, Hladini. And it just same thing for the individual jiva. So, how they are working? They are working karma shakti, jnana shakti and ichcha shakti. That is the action, then thought and desire. So, this is the way. So, afterwards they developed karma yoga, jnana yoga and bhakti yoga. Because these are the three powers that we always use. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga. What about the dhyana yoga? It is already there in everything. Dhyana means concentration. So, they are not mentioning over here. The concentration is necessary in everything. So, all these we discussed the last week, and today we are going to discuss about very wonderful thing when Sri Ramakrishna was discussing to aim. Well, people renounce grain by grain, but what a mood these youngsters are in. It is page 798 in English book, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna by Nikhilananda ji, translation. This is 798, Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, well, people renounce grain by grain, but what a mood these youngsters are in. I am giving a discourse, a series of discourse in our Home of Harmony, organization of gods, about the Ramakrishna mission, the organization. This is I think we have completed the third, it will be next the fourth. So, there in details we are trying to understand when this monasticism started. We find that the Lord Buddha, when he saw the four things, and then he decided to renounce the last was the sannyasi. Now the question is, sannyasa, this concept was there for a long, long period of time. But the Chatur Asrama, Brahmacharya, Garhastha, Banaprastha, Sannyas, the majority of these, they used to follow that. Even in the Upanishad, the great Rishi Yajnavalkya, we know that Yajnavalkya, Maitreyi, that Sambhada, they are having the discussion. So there the Yajnavalkya, he wanted to give up and to become a sannyasi. So they were the householders. First, they are acquiring knowledge, brahmacharya, then the married life, garhastha, then retired life, banaprastha. Then he decided, now it is time for me to withdraw from everything and become a sannyasi. So sannyasa. The sannyasa concept was there from the beginning, and this after going through the 3 stages of life, 3 ashramas, only one could become the sannyasa. Lord Buddha saw that someone, a sannyasi, and he wanted to become like him. So he left the hearth and home, he took the initiation and he practiced. The sannyasa, then after the Buddha, we find that all the Sravanas, the sannyasins, they are following Lord Buddha. Married or bachelor or what, that is not very clear. Anyone wanted to renounce could go. From Shankaracharya onward, it became a system, and they wanted the sannyasi, if you like, to become, and little slowly, this system came. Even in the Shankara also we find Shureshwaracharya, he was a married person, and then afterwards he was defeated by Shankara, then he accepted the sannyasa, because that was the condition. If the Shankara can defeat him, then he will become the sannyasi. He became the Shureshwara Acharya. Now the married people could become the sannyasi. In the Ramakrishna mission also, when Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is giving the sannyasa, he was also having some people who were married. Then afterwards, and in the Ramakrishna mission, not all others, the married people also can become sannyasi, and still it is open, but only in the Ramakrishna mission the restriction has come. So this is that from the brahmacharya you have to take sannyasa. So this conception, sannyasa conception, was already there. Then here we find the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is mentioning about the youngsters who have not passed through that. That traditionally it was, but Sri Ramakrishna is insisting, appreciating and encouraging that right from your brahmacharya go to sannyasa, and that is a great thing. Why? Because the mind is not scattered. Those who are working outside and the married life and the social life, their mind is all scattered in many different ways, and naturally it has become very difficult to withdraw that mind. But if you directly go from the student's life to the sannyasa life, in between you can avoid. So Sri Ramakrishna is appreciating that. Well, people renounce grain by grain. That means from brahmacharya to garhastha, the householder's life, garhastha to banaprastha, so grain by grain. But what a mood these youngsters are in. Binod said that what a state Dija is passing through. In my presence, he only sways his body and fixes his glance on me. Is that a trifling thing? Sri Ramakrishna now is giving a statement which is very rare when we study his biography and many where he never mentioned about himself. But here very clearly he is mentioning, if a man gathers his whole mind and fixes it on me, then indeed he achieves everything. So that is a great statement. Now he is disclosing his divinity. He, the God himself, Avatara Varishtaya, Swami Vivekananda, he mentioned this word, used this word, Avatara Varishta. There are many incarnations of gods are there, but the manifestation of power, that is maximum in Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And here we find the full manifestation. So, Avatara Varishtaya, among the incarnations are nothing but God Himself. But the God is also expressing, utilizing, using His power in a different places, different time, in a limited way. But now it is the full why. It's not that we are the followers of Ramakrishna, naturally we will be saying like that. The other person's followers, they will say, it is nothing like that. It's not, from the narrow sense we are not talking. We are talking from the highest plane. Why? Because, as again Swami Vivekananda declared, why we are quoting Vivekananda? Vivekananda again is a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He is supposed to say all these good words, positive words about his Guru. No. He was very, very critical, analytical, and then only he used to accept. Vivekananda's character, those who know, those who have studied, he is a completely different type of person. So when he says, it has great value. The Swami Vivekananda said, immediately after the birth of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Satya Yuga have started. We know that the yugas, the whole kalpa, the universe and time, it has been divided into 4. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. And in Satya, of course, the rishis were there, they were discovering, Brahma was creating, all these things were there. Most of the people, they were dedicated to the higher sort of life. Even the women also, they were asked to concentrate their mind, dedicate their whole life to discover the spiritual truths and other teachings. So majority of the people, population was also less. And then afterwards, at the time of Sri Ramachandra, we find the little more people are settled, ordinary people are also there, the washermen are also there, and the carpenters are there, like this, so many different type of trades and people. So there the life was different, and Sri Ramachandra came, he too was the avatar of God, but his manifestation was limited. Why? It was not necessary. There are almost, we can say, 60-40, 60% people were good or 70% people were good. If we are taking in that way, looking at that way, the majority of the people were good and little. Some people, they were confused, they were not understanding what to do, and the nature that has given us, the Rajaguna and Tamaguna, that was also manifesting. So that is the way. And then Sri Ramachandra came, the Lord Vishnu himself came, and with all his brothers, they were also having the same power, but little manifestation. So to all of them, they did it. What? How people should live in the society, that was the main thing. Then Lord Krishna came, and it was the time very challenging. Why? Because the Rajaguna and Tamaguna was trying to suppress the Sattvaguna. The Rajaguna, it was the kings. They were not listening to the rishis. So that is if we notice that the Krishna, he was trying to once again establish dharma by that way. There was no other dharmas. There was no other faiths. Only in the Indian peninsula there was the Sanatana Dharma, all were Sanatana Dharmi. Politically they were separated, small kingdoms all over the India, but they all used to follow the Sanatana Dharma, or same type of practices. But the main thing that they should control their emotions and their desires, their lust, with the help of the sattva, and which the rishis or their gurus or the brahmanas should teach them. They were trying to avoid that, and some they were there, they were completely refusing to accept. This is the time when the Lord again, the Vishnu again came as Sri Krishna, and if we notice that he was chastising and he was making the kings particularly to behave properly. Now came the modern time when different type of religions manifested in different places. All these major religions that we see, that they started practicing, and the Christianity came, Islam came, Judaism was already there, Buddhism was already there, Jainism was already there, and Sikhism was already there. So all this, and then the challenges, because the Christianity was trying to overpower some of the people, they wanted to protect themselves. So they also started different type of philosophies and the different schools to protect themselves from this onslaught of the Christianity. So the Samajas started coming. Then the Prarthana Samaj, then Brahma Samaj, and all these different type of Samaj, and they were trying to save them. So there was a thorough confusion in the general masses. It is not the kings. So we have to understand the gravity of the problem. Now it was the Tama, that is Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dapar Yuga was over after the Krishna. Then the terrible time came, that is the thorough confusion about the religion, and utilizing religion, people were grabbing power. We have noticed it in the Buddhism, in the Christianity, in Islam. They were utilizing the dharma to grab the power. All these things were going on. Forceful conversion, torture, killing, destruction, all these were going on. It was absent at the time of Krishna, at the time of Rama. Notice it. It is in the time of the Sri Rama Krishna. The same God, same Vishnu. Those who have studied the biography of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, they know the Vishnu Bhagavan again, he wanted to come as a son. That whole thing, same way repeated. I am coming as your son, he said to that Brahmana, very austere and very faithful, and that always sticking to the truth, the Shuddhiram Chattopadhyay. So the Lord became his son. He manifested as Sri Ramakrishna. So there is nothing like belittling Sri Ramachandra or Sri Krishna. No, the same God, they came for a particular period of time, for a particular purpose. They completed their mission, and then this time the same God manifested as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. If we analyze like this, then there will be no confusion. Oh, they are followers of Ramakrishna there. No, it is nothing like that. We should not think in that way. The God is manifesting, and the challenge was really, really very difficult. Why? The ego, it became each and every one. At the time of Sri Ramachandra, a few only, Ravana and Bali and the Krishna, some kings. But at the time of Sri Ramakrishna, even the ordinary people were so egoistic. So egoistic. And Sri Ramakrishna was only 200 years before. And if you read the social condition of the country, particularly India, where Sri Ramakrishna was born, you will understand what was the condition. Why is Swami Vivekananda, after traveling the length and breadth of the India, why he was crying, and he was telling, lo, the descendants of the rishis have become next door neighbor to brutes. Why he had to say that? So that was a terrible condition. And Lord, the God, he needed to manifest more power. Why? Because to introduce Satya Yuga, Kali, the end, and the Satya Yuga begin. So obviously God manifested his more power. And he wanted to show that, because the people used to boast that I have studied these, and he could quote, some people they could quote from this writer, from that writer, and they used to write and they used to feel very proud that I am quoting from so and so, and like this and that. Still today it goes on. The one person will be quoting another, the another will quoting the same person. They are scratching each other's back. Like this it goes. Where is the originality? Sri Ramakrishna gave that originality. And this originality, what is that? You need not to go to any university to get a certificate that you are a spiritual person. What is the spirituality? Completely free from ego and attachment to the worldly objects. That is called spirituality. And that we find in the life of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. 100%, more than 100%. No attachment to the worldly objects. Though he was having tremendous influence, because he is the God himself. As we find as a definition of God in one of the Vaishnava scripture, they say, Aisharyasya samagrasya viriyasya yashasya sri jnana vairagya. These are the 6 power if someone is having, he is a God. And Sri Ramakrishna was having the same thing, the dominion, the power to control the nature, the authority was in Sri Ramakrishna. He could change the mind of people. He could read the minds of people. Any time people are coming, he could see their past. He could announce their future. And it really happened. It really happened. Once the young Narendra came to him and he said, see that there is no, the God cannot manifest in that way. God is formless, because the tremendous influence of the Christianity, and to counter that, the Brahma Samaj and Keshav Chandra Sen and all those, they started telling, no, there is no forms, the formless God, because they were confused how the God so big and vast can manifest inside an image or a photo or a tree or a stone. So they started leaving those things. The God is all pervading, God has no form, because that was the main argument of the Christianity. And they also started following that, only taking that formless aspect of God. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, why? He is all powerful. He is all pervading, of course, but he is all powerful too. And since he is all powerful, he can do anything if he likes. So who are you to say that he cannot manifest in this form or in that form? Why you are limiting him? Are you more powerful than the God? That was the argument of Sri Ramakrishna. And the whole modern society was taken aback. That's true. Then he was telling, giving that example like, if there is a cool breeze, the water, which is the symbol of formlessness, takes the form of ice. And the same water melts, that ice melts, become water again when there is sun. He gave the example. When a man is discriminating, analyzing, judging and following the path of jnana, for him it is formless God, the water. A man again who is with devotion, he wants to see his own God, he wants to cook for his God, he wants to decorate his God. His love, he wants to give that form of that. The same water again, formless God, takes the form. It is easy for God to take any time, any form. Why not? And people started accepting it, understanding it. It became clear to them. So this is the great contribution of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Then instead of telling that my path is the only path, he said all paths are leading to the same goal. But if you are genuine, if you are sincere, what is the sincerity? God is only existing and not this world. So you have to withdraw your mind and you have to put it to God. And the same God who manifested in the form of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, very humble. He never could say, this is I. He always said this. When he said, if a man gathers his whole mind and fixes it on me, then indeed he achieves everything. What does this mean? The God himself. He looks so simple, so ordinary. So when the people look at him, oh nay, how can he be God? He is not having 4 hands. The gods are supposed to have 4 hands or 10 hands or 6 hands. We should be sitting either on tiger or a lion, or at least minimum an elephant, at least on a bull, like that. This is all nonsense. The God means the tremendous power that manifested. What is that power? Unselfishness. What is that power? Complete detachment. What is that power? Tremendous love for each and every one without discrimination. Though he is powerful, but still he never wanted to take anything. So those are the qualities. Aisharyasya samagrasya. He was having complete power. Biriyasya. He was having that might, the power to change everything. He touched the young Naren. Immediately, Naren was completely transformed. There was a wrestler, very powerful man, and someone hired him, engaged him to heckle Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He came and he said, oh, Sri Ramakrishna, the frail body, but the Lord came, Sri Ramakrishna came, touched his chest with a finger, and then he left. That man, the powerful man, the egoistic man, he became completely changed. These are all history. These are not mythological stories. Still those people, their descendants are living. Their houses are there. How can you deny it? So this is the power of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. The great person, intellectual person. Then India was having only one person who was so wonderfully educated and accepted by all the quarters of people and the life. And he was Keshav Chandra Sen. It is said that he was invited, that Queen Victoria invited him to dine with her. Can you imagine? Now Sri Ramakrishna, from the village he is coming, having no education and no money also, no social status. The moment Sri Ramakrishna went and talked with Keshav, Keshav with folded hands started listening to him, following him. So of course Keshav was having that, the purity, that no ego was there. That's why he could immediately receive the grace of God. This is the power of God. This is the power of God. So can't we say that Sri Ramakrishna is God? So he is telling, if you put the whole mind, why I am telling? Because Sri Ramakrishna now, he is the Ishta Devata of millions and millions of people. And there should not be any doubt in the mind of anyone that if we meditate on Sri Ramakrishna, are we going to get the best result? God realization? Of course, for sure, because Sri Ramakrishna is the God, the one who was contradicting him again and again, judging him, analyzing him, and he was so ruthless analyzer. This Narendranath, when Sri Ramakrishna was in his deathbed, he was having the problem in the throat. He couldn't talk even. He couldn't eat. Emaciated body. Apparently he was nothing. Looking at him, the Narendranath was thinking. He didn't express it through words. He was thinking, if now this man can say that he is God, I will believe. The moment his thought crossed his mind, immediately Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna looked at him and said, Naren, he who was Sri Rama, he who was Sri Krishna, now in this body as Ramakrishna. Even then, at the stage also, he never forgot to complete the sentence by saying, but it is not from your Advaita point of view. Because Advaita do not accept the manifestation of God and incarnations. Not from your Advaita point of view. The Vedanta dig diye noy. Can't we say that he is God? So he could really understand everyone's mind. When someone was walking on he used to feel sometimes that he is everything. The once he was sitting and suddenly saw that some people are walking on the field, the grasses were there. And that very moment, he was one with everything. So he cried out and asked them not to do that, as if they are walking on my chest. This is the feeling. And a person noticed that a red mark, as if somebody has slapped on his back. It was very prominent. He came and saw, what happened to you? Who has bitten you like this? He said, no one bitten me. But look at those two boatmen. They are fighting over there on the boat in the Ganga, so far from that shore. And he looked at them, he saw them, and one person bit another, and that mark came on his body. If he is not all pervading, then how it is possible? Sri Ramakrishna, the God Supreme. And from him, once again, this Satya Yuga has started. And this Satya Yuga, he is ushering us, taking us. And that's why he said, what is the indication of Satya Yuga? Truthfulness, sincerity, unattachment, and love, unselfishness. These are the traits of the Satya Yuga that he is asking us to do. Each and every one, not only the kings, not only educated people, for each and every one, God realization is the goal of human being. It's not the only Hindus or the Muslims or the these or that. It's for each and every one. Once you are a human form, then you must understand how much a human can enjoy physically. How much? So then you must try to understand. You want enjoyment, you want joy. The realization of God is million times better than any joy in this world. Now, one young boy, Dija, he was so lucky, so fortunate. He understood it. And that is why he used to look at Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and he used to gaze at him, and his body used to move as if he is receiving the electric shocks. The Sri Ramakrishna noticed it and he was very happy. And there he mentioned, and he will achieve everything. He didn't say the mukti. He didn't say that he will achieve the spiritual goal. No, everything. As a God, he can give anything and everything. Whatever you want from him, you will get it. If you want the wealth, name, power, position, fame, everything God will give. Because it is all his. And at the same time, if you want the liberation from the bondage of birth and death, that also he will give. So that is Sri Ramakrishna. When the Lord Krishna is giving that in the Bhagavad Gita, he said, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Is that Supreme God. Is not only that is Krishna form, is that Supreme God. Sarva dharman parityajya. Yet the dharma means all different duties and responsibilities. It is not the different religious paths, practices, no. Because at the time of Lord Krishna, there is no other religion but the Sanatana Dharma. We do not know whether it was there or not, maybe some primitive religions. But Sri Krishna, when he said, it is this. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, from any path you go, you come to me only. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stathaiva bhajamaham. Momo vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. Same thing the Lord Krishna said. In whatever way you worship me, whatever way, Why he said whatever way? Because some of the people, they used to think him as the all-pervading, formless God. Some used to think that he is with form. Like the Bhishma, he used to worship Vishnu, but he meditated on the Lord Krishna because he knew that Krishna is none than Vishnu himself. The Bhishma, at the fag end of his life, he declared it. In the Bhagavata we find, so wonderfully is going on describing. So that when we find all these in the scriptures, in Mahabharata, in Bhagavata, that the Lord Krishna is none other than the Vishnu himself. At the time of Sri Ramachandra, the Munis, they realized that, but they said, O Lord, we know that you are all-pervasive Brahman, Parabrahma Parashakti, that is Sri Ramachandra. But Sri Ramachandra, as a son of Dasharatha, the Rishi said, now we should accept you as that. Why? Because the ordinary people are not ready to understand, ready to accept that God can manifest as a human form. So this development, now at the time, the modern age, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and Avatara, and he Avatara Barishta, and anyone accepting him as that God, withdrawing the mind from the sense objects and concentrating on him, will get anything and everything that they want. But what am I? Now he is telling, this body you think, it is not actually. What am I? It is all he, H capital. It is all he. He means that God manifesting through that form. When Swami Vivekananda came in America, and he very rarely he mentioned about Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, because people won't understand him. They will misunderstand. Even today, many of the people are there. Of course, they are all educated people, but religiously they are not that way developed. So they came and told, why you are worshipping a human? Why not the God or goddess like Kali, Durga, or Sri Ramachandra, Sri Krishna? I told, we like Sri Ramakrishna, so we are keeping it. So still they are not understanding that God doesn't mean that you have to show some miraculous power. Sri Ramachandra, majority of the people, if you talk about Sri Ramachandra, he will say, in the name of Rama. I don't know where from they got all this. They were writing Sri Rama on the stones, and the stones were floating. They believe Sri Rama as God because just by writing his name on a stone, and stone was floating on the water. So he is God. Suppose that miracle was not there, then they would have doubted about Sri Ramachandra as God. But they don't see the tyaga of Sri Ramachandra. He could become a king, but he gave up that. He accepted the life of a recluse. He went inside the jungle for 14 long years. He faced all those challenges, tough life. Why? To keep the promises. We don't understand that. We love Sri Ramachandra. We worship Sri Ramachandra. But we don't follow Sri Ramachandra. And that is why no progress in our spiritual life. And we are still thinking by writing the name Sri Rama, if we throw the stone to the water, it will float. It can float if that Lord wills. It is possible for him, but not for you. So that is the way we have to understand. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he said, only name won't do. You have to understand the qualities also. Nam, Guna, Kirtana. The Nama, the name of the Lord, name of the God, but his qualities. And that you have to go on memorizing, repeating, and constantly remembering. Then only those qualities will manifest within you. And it is possible in that way. It is all he. I am the machine and he is the operator. Swami Vivekananda didn't take the name of Sri Ramakrishna. Sometimes even his brother disciples commented, why you have not taken the name of our Guru? He said, do you think the Sri Ramakrishna means that much? He is everything, whatever is good, whatever spirituality is Sri Ramakrishna. Because he is the God himself. When someone is praying and calling for Allah, it is Sri Ramakrishna. In Calcutta it happened on a broad daylight. Sri Ramakrishna got down from the carriage and ran to that person, a Muslim who was praying on the pavement of Calcutta. Why? Because he was genuinely calling on God. So the God as a Brahmana in the form of Sri Ramakrishna heard it. And some of the ladies who were that time actresses, the people used to shun them because they were not that way just ladies. It is God himself going, Sri Ramakrishna himself going with all the devotees to introduce them. It is not the work that they are doing, the dresses that they are wearing, or the places that they are leaving. It is their mind what they are thinking. It is their mind. And they are constantly praying to God. We are living in the hell, God, please help us, please help us. Though they were in a different situation, difficult situation, nasty situation, but their mind was pure. They were constantly remembering God and calling on Him. So the God, in the form of Sri Ramakrishna, He himself went over there, touched their forehead and blessed them. So this is the God. No discrimination. Other people they are judging. If I go, what the society will say, if I do like this, they are all calculative. Sri Ramakrishna, the God, has nothing like that. So here we find, though he is telling, I am the machine and he is the operator, we understand, we should follow that. Why? Because whatever the success comes to us, it is because of the God. God is giving us that intellect to understand. God is giving us the opportunity to utilize that knowledge, and we are becoming successful. People are appreciating, society is appreciating. We should be more and more humble. Oh God, through me you are working. Please don't leave me. I like to be like this in your hand. Rabindranath, perhaps, if I am not mistaken, he mentioned, Amare karo tomar bina. Bina means the musical instrument. They are giving the beautiful music, playing beautiful music, melodious music. And the poet is praying to God, make me that instrument in your hand. I will go on giving the beautiful sound, the world will be happy, but you should play. So that is the way, that is called karma yoga. Karma yoga means completely dedicating in the hand of God. Whatever best quality, whatever the best way I can do, I should do. Concentrate my mind on that. But at the same time, I know it is not me, it is you. And it is God alone who exists in these. In these means in this body. He was pointing to his body. It is God alone who exists in these. That is why so many people are feeling more and more attracted to it. A mere touch is enough to awaken their spirituality. This attraction, this pull, is the attraction of God and none else. Attraction of God and none else. Unless the manifestation of God is there within, people will never feel attracted. There's sometimes any power that is manifesting is the power of God. There's some cinema actors or actresses are very popular. The power is manifesting through them. They become, if unfortunate, egoistic. Oh, it is because of me. They won't talk to the people, they'll be misbehaving people, and slowly they will lose that power. And they will go in oblivion. People will forget them. So the power of God when manifest, maybe in the past life, there was a desire, I like to become like this. The God has given you that opportunity. You became a great personality, maybe a philosopher, maybe a singer, maybe a dancer, maybe an actor or actresses, maybe a political leader, maybe a hero. All this power that is manifesting in this world is the manifestation of the God's power. Otherwise, among thousands and millions, how come that you have become successful? What is the specialty in you? You are just like an ordinary person. But this moment God has blessed you as because you did something good in your past life, you are enjoying this life. Now one should be aware. Now one should be humble. One should be prayerful. The God, you have given me so much. I am so happy. But at the same time I am afraid that the ego should not creep within me. So please hold my hand. Then you are saved. Otherwise, again the temptation will catch you and drag you down to the worldly life. Again the suffering of hell. Here the hell means whatever you wanted, you won't get. So the suffering will be there. So that is the reason Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned the God is living within me. A mere touch, a mere look, a glance. The people are becoming spiritually awakened because God is living within me. Ma Sharadamani Devi said, if you are looking at the picture of Sri Ramakrishna, you are looking at the God itself. Chaya and Kaya. Kaya means the form. Chaya means the shadow. The shadow means that picture is the form of God. And she told the modern day society people are so intelligent, so clever. They have taken that particular form of God in Sri Ramakrishna, in picture, in photo. So Sri Ramakrishna's picture is very, very holy. Holier than anything else. So one must be careful keeping those pictures properly. So sometimes some people will be printing in on any paper and then throw it. One should not do that. It is the God himself. As we are keeping other holy relics, Sri Ramakrishna's photo. Once you glance at that, you are looking at God. So one should keep all the time. Majority of our Swamis, they always follow that. Always keep the photo of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada and Swamiji in their pockets. So whenever they are getting the opportunity, taking out and looking at it, you are worshipping God. So the God you are remembering all the time, while traveling, while sitting alone, constantly you are remembering God. And when you are remembering God, your mind is becoming purified. The moment the mind becomes purified, purification means absent or detached from the worldly objects, you are free. This is the only thing. The majority of the people, they do not understand. They like to enjoy afterlife. After the death also they like to enjoy. As they are enjoying this life, after the death also they want the same family, so wife, children, grandfather, grandmother. So also they will get that, but temporary. They will be there again, and after some time again you have to come back, and again you have to go through. So those who are clever, they understand it clearly. So who are these and our relatives? I am not connected with them. We are all the reflections of the same God. We are all small, small tumblers, the water pots. And on our water, the reflection of the same sun is coming. And we are becoming father, mother, wife, children. We are thinking we are all attached. And without them we cannot survive. How come? It is all reflection coming from the same. Now sometimes the chandelier that we see, in the chandelier there are so many lights will be there, lamps will be there. And they are in the same, that light, the chandelier, hundreds maybe, and beautiful light they are giving together. If they start thinking, oh, we are a family and we should live together, it is like that. All separate, and all currents are, electricity is also coming separately, all the lamps are burning separately. Together it is giving life, it is okay, and making a beautiful chandelier. But they are all separate. So detachment, detachment, detachment. Living with all and behaving that I am your own, but knowing the truth, I am all alone with God. I am the reflection of God. Any time this body may break, and the reflection that is within here should go back to the original, nowhere else. The life circle again, if the desire is there, then it will go, again come back. Hindus and Buddhists, they strongly believe in the next birth again. There is no chance. If you have desire, you have to come back. You have to take the form, and you have to enjoy the same thing that you were desiring. So be very, very careful in this desiring. So that is the way we have to think, we have to purify. Weaknesses are there, different type of provocations are there, but analysis, that is the reason we should study Panchama Veda. And very simple way Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is teaching us. Taroka Belghoria was going home from Dakshinesha. I clearly noticed that a flame-like thing came out of this means his own body, and followed him. The God is with us. If we are praying to God, God is also following with us. So this is the incident that we are reading this moment. Belghoria Tarak, he used to love Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, pray to him. Then when he is going, from the God, the power is following him as a flame. Why he is mentioning this? Giving the indication, God will be with you if you are praying to God, if you are dedicating to God. All responsibility God will take. God will be always with the devotee. A few days later, Tarak came back to Dakshinesha. In a state of samadhi, he who dwells in this body placed his foot on Tarak's chest. So that is the blessings of the God. Well, are there more youngsters like this? So they were discussing that this is the thing that we must understand, and today we will conclude over here, and because some of the maybe questions are there, so we will conclude over here. And when that person asks that whether the incarnation of God having the desire, the Sri Ramakrishna mentions smilingly, I find that I have not got rid of all my desires. It is in a funny way he was mentioning, but Sri Ramakrishna was not having any desire. His only desire as the incarnation of God was to help us, the human being, to go towards God at the fag end of his life. The human birth means there will be the diseases. That sometimes when there is a disease, we say, why we have worshipped God, we have offered so much of food to him, so much of donation we have given, why this will come to me? That is useless. One should not talk like that. Because the body, we are going to die. The body is going to be destroyed. We are not going to die. The consciousness, that is always there. So that is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning in that way, in a funny way. I have some desire. As if he is trying to say, well, you may consider that I am not an avatar, I am not an incarnation. But friends, we must be very, very sincere and devoted at the feet of the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Those who have taken the initiation in his name, and this time, in the modern time, this is a most purified name, most powerful God. All others are there. But even as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna indicated very correctly, the money that was used by the kings, now it cannot be utilized. Maybe it is a golden thing, but you cannot use it as a exchange money. The modern day things should be taken. And in this time, those who are going towards the Satya Yuga must follow Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, because he is the God who is taking us again back to Satya Yuga. Thank you, friends. Now let us see any question.
So Akash Saivi, she has two-part question. First is how to explain Nirakar Brahman and Shakar Brahman.
Akash, you have heard that Aka, that is our Sri Ramakrishna himself, the Lord himself has given a beautiful example. A devotee, he wants to see God in a form, sometimes Krishna, sometimes Rama. So that Supreme Lord who is all pervading, but connect with it every mind, receive the message, and if it is a genuine prayer, he takes that particular form only to satisfy that devotee. So that is why Shakara. Shakara means with form. Sha Akara. Akara means form. Sha with. So with form he manifests. And sometimes someone says, no, I am the God myself. Aham Brahmasmi. So that time it is a completely different, there is no form. So it is not that someone has to see the form to prove that he is a religious person. No, it is nothing like that. Sri Ramakrishna gave the example, accepting the water as a formless God. When a cool breeze making that water ice, it is taking the form. And again, the sun ray is melting that ice, becoming water. Sun is the representative, sun rays is the representation of the knowledge, analysis. And cool breeze is the representation of devotion. Bhaktanam anukampartham brahmana rupakalpana. Then in one of our scripture it says, Bhaktanam, for the devotees, anukampartham, to grace them, to satisfy their desire, Brahmana, the one which is all pervading without form, Rupa, form, Kalpana. It is Kalpana means imagination, it is not true. That's why the Hindus, they never fight with the forms. The same Hindu will be worshipping Goddess Durga with 6 hands. And same Hindu will be worshipping Durga with 10 hands. No problem. So they don't fight. Why? I like to see Goddess Durga with 10 hands. I like to see Goddess Durga sitting on a tiger, not on lion. The Bengalis, they worship Durga on a lion. And Shimhavahini, they say, and 10 hands. But other northern part, it is on the tiger. No. Why? I want to see. It is my imagination. Thank you.
So she's asking again part 2, second question. To understand Nirgun Brahman and I am also Brahman, we say Ekaham Bahusham. Then to understand that all Shakar forms, can I say Bahusham Ekam?
Of course. See, very nicely you have put it, Bahusham Ekaham. So that In the Bhagavan Sri Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra. Yo mam pashyati. One who sees me, the Supreme God, sarvatra, everywhere. In the trees, in the branches, and human being, and animals, in birds, everything. Sarvam cha moi pashyati. Again, all in me. Except God, there is nothing. Except the Brahman, the consciousness, there is nothing. So, when we think other things, that is also the manifestation of the same thing. You are very correct. Many becomes one, and that is the ultimate goal. Thank you.
Harsh is asking, how can I love Sri Ramakrishna more and more every day? How can I make him the center of this life?
Bah, very good question. So, this way you have to study the biography of Sri Ramakrishna and also the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And slowly, when the more and more you are studying, you will see that first time when you are reading, one type of meaning is coming to you. Second time, third time, deeper and more deeper and very clear manifestation will come. As Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna here in the page 798, he mentioned, if a man gathers his whole mind and fixes it on me, then indeed he achieves everything. We discussed today, this me, the God, is all pervading, but when you look at the picture, he is so humble. So, to love him, we have to understand, he is the God, supreme, eager to help us, eager to be with us. We have only to understand this and pray to him. Pray, O Lord, make my mind purified so that I can understand you. And O Lord, please hold my hand as my father, as my mother, so I should not go deviating from you. So pray like that. By his grace, you will develop love for him. Thank you. Okay, friends, thank you for attending this class. Let us recite this mantra and we conclude. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavasaram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.